didn't, and they lay down and died. When they finally dug their way through here, when the snow started to melt, there were 22 bodies, over half the herd were dead, and only 13 left alive, which was an absolute disaster. But nature takes care. You're weak, die, and you're strong, survive. So every time a sort of hit like this has happened on these, when the herd survived, it's always survived stronger than it was before, because strength always comes through. That's a ball from way over there somewhere. Now, hidden away in a secret place in Scotland is a reserve herd of these. Started in 1972. There was an outbreak of foot and mouth in 1967, and it was only 2 miles away. And the Ministry of Agriculture were outside the gates with rifles. They come to shoot these. They saw no visual signs of foot and mouth, so they didn't shoot them. It made us understand, little teeny calf, made us understand that you can't keep all your eggs in one basket and keep them safe. So they took from here in 1972 3 one-year-old calves, 1 male and 2 females. Only about a year old, so only that big, couldn't hurt anybody. Horns are only that big, so they couldn't hurt anybody of them either. And they started a reserve herd, and they settled and they matured and they started to breed. Oh, what a noise all of a sudden. And we have between 25 and 30 hidden away there now, so we have a nice little nucleus that we can fall back on if God forbid anything horrible happened to these. Now what we can't do is mix that herd and this herd, because they have different smells on them now and different habits, so we'd have a bit of a bloodbath if we tried to mix them together. So we'll only use them if these are gone, and hopefully we never have to call on them.
I take it they were the same as well, there's no contact with them.
No contact at all. They don't even see people, they wouldn't stand around like this. They'd be gone. These are so used to humans, they just ignore us now. I love this noise these bulls make. It's handy for us because they can't move around with purpose and not make that noise, so they can't sneak up, which is good. That's a good thing.
Is there like some kind of defensive thing here? Is like all the calves seem to be in the middle of the...
It's probably a natural thing that they'll do. I mean, these little ones are left out on their own, but we wouldn't be able to get to them because of her. So when they do go defensive, they go tight and the calves get pushed into the middle, and mostly the cows surround the calves, and then the herd is literally surrounded by males. So they have that defensive posture, if you like. But I think if they'd have seen us as a threat, that one of them would have come this way.
Yeah.
A bull would have thought, well, I'll go and shift them and get rid of the threat. And of course, when he comes towards us, we have to move away. And that movement away reduces the threat. So that's why he does it, basically. He comes to move, and if you don't move away, then he'll come and move you in his own inimitable way. But they run so fast, we don't let them get close enough to think. Because you can't get out of the way. Now they calve all year round. All these little calves are this year's, so they're varying ages and sizes. Always singles, we've never recorded a twin, and as you can see from this thing that's just stood up now, that's about 2 weeks to 3 weeks old. It's like a lamb. Literally they're born as small as lambs. And they're snow white. The only mark they have on them is a black nose and red ears. They are the most beautiful little things. To actually calve, Mum will hide herself in the trees, so she'll disappear into a copse like that, and she'll hide the calf in there for about a week, and then she brings it out to introduce it to the herd. Now whoever's the dominant male decides whether that calf's good enough to come in. If he thinks it's good and strong, he'll turn around and escort the calf into the herd. And that tells everybody in there it's good and strong, because the boss says so. They'll come to it and get to know it and sniff it. If he doesn't think it's strong, then he'll push it back to its mother. He won't hurt it, he'll push it away, she'll take it away for a few days, and then she'll come down and try again. and he'll test it again, and if he still doesn't like it, he'll push it back again. Once he's refused that calf entry 4 or 5 times, she'll just walk away. She'll just leave it and it will starve to death. She then stops producing milk, comes back into season, and the whole thing starts again. If the calf tries to follow her in, the chances are he'll stamp it or gore it. If another bull doesn't, he will. The good news is we don't have weaknesses now, so we don't have weak calves. It's 15 years since we lost a calf that we know of in this way, and that was born with a short tail. That's all that was wrong with it, it just had a little stubby tail, and they started to death. They're very picky. But this is how you keep strong. You don't let weakness in and have to deal with the consequences of it. You keep weakness out, always. ...160 acres at the moment, and so we're at 108 or 9, we're nudging the upper limit, but what we think will happen is each animal will get less to eat, so its condition will drop and its fertility will drop and the breeding rate will slow. So what we're hoping is to leave it to these, to do it in a natural way. It's quite easy for us, we could walk in here with a rifle and shoot a third of the herd, but it's not a natural process. So hopefully we'll be able to leave it to these. What we do need to do is make sure the sheep don't keep coming in. Yeah, they'll have come in off the moor, they live out in the wilds on their own, and they'll have come over either a piece of wall that's down or through a hole in the fence where a badger's come through.
So you see they're a completely different species now. So could they breed with domestic cattle? Or?
Well, this is the question. We know hundreds of years ago they have done, because they took them as calves from here and put them into estates all around the country.
Right.
Our experts think they're physically close enough to domestic cattle to be able to breed, but any offspring would now be infertile. So they're genetically far enough away to have the mule effect. Yeah, we think.
That's just like a mule and a mule.
Yeah,
or
it's a
baroo
donkey
or
and a
call it
horse and a donkey creates a mule.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
But they're all infertile. They can't produce.
You can't produce.
It's a bit like they did the tiger and the lion, didn't they? They created a
Tigon or something like that.
and a tigon or whatever it was, but none of them could produce.
No.
Does the badger pose a threat here?
No, there's no TB here.
No TB.
We can't live test these, of course, so we shoot a deer every now and then. They carry indicators of TB, and there's no TB here.
There's quite a lot of deer come in here then.
There's a few, not many nowadays. I would think 30 or 40 at a time. They're wild, they don't belong to us, they just jump in and out. Most of ours are fallow that come in here. There's 1 or 2 row. They tend to stay higher up. They'll know, if they're around now, they'll hear us and smell us from miles away, and they're a bit more nervous, so they stay up in the woods. Just occasionally you'll see a little one running across or something. There was one down here this morning in this tree line, but as soon as it saw us, it scooted off.
And that'll be just roe deer, will it?
On the isolated ones are roe deer. The groups of them, the herds of them are fallow. We do have fallow as well. They would have had red here at some stage, but they've all gone. Right, folks, what we're going to do is try